Hi, this is James Shug with Westpac London's end of day report for Friday, October the 12th. Firstly, sorry for not delivering a report yesterday, but the fire alarm went off for like an hour, which meant it was impossible to record. Initially it was a bit of a struggle for equity markets today, particularly in Europe. A lot of positioning ahead of the next week of meetings, which culminates in the EU Leaders Summit next week. We had the IMF's Lagarde say that leniency towards Greece should be a priority, and supporting the idea that Greece should be given another 2 years to meet its budget deficit reduction targets, which would cost the bailout fund possibly an extra 20 billion euros. Meanwhile, the head of the bailout fund, the ESM, kind of went the other way, saying that there is still more fiscal work to be done in countries like Greece. So this sort of pre-positioning, I think, helps explain why there wasn't really a clear direction in European markets, even though throughout the day we saw Spanish bond yields fall on speculation that Spain would seek a bailout from the ESM this weekend took hold. That, of course, would trigger the ECB being able to buy the bonds of Spain to hold down yields in a more permanent fashion than the announcement effect of the bond buying plan has done up until now. But nothing really clear has emerged yet. We had some economic data today. Producer prices spiked 1.1% in September in the US. Energy drove almost all of that. Core PPI, excluding food and energy, was flat in the month. And energy prices have fallen since then too. What did drive markets was a jump in consumer sentiment, as reported by the preliminary University of Michigan series for October, to a 5-year high. That follows the IBD TIPP Economic Optimism Index earlier this week, which hit a 6-year high. So it shouldn't have really been a surprise, but it seems that lower gasoline prices are certainly part of that story. And that it was that number that actually pushed equities more clearly into the black. We had European industrial production figures, which posted their first back-to-back rises. July up 0.6, August up 0.6 since a year ago. What was interesting in the detail was that Germany was down 0.4%, but France, Spain and Italy all rose by around 1.5%. And even Greece has had a run of months now without a decline in industrial production, such that in annual terms, Greek industrial production is actually up 2.5%. The first positive we've seen there for a long time. In February it was down 9% on a year earlier. So, some reasonable news around the place. In terms of markets, this is still an hour or so ahead of the close in Europe. The FTSE is down 0.2%. The French market is unchanged. The German market down, unchanged really, down 0.05%. The Spanish market down a third, and the Italian's unchanged. So there were bigger losses earlier in the session, but pretty much flat as I'm speaking. The Dow is up 0.4% at 13,383, but that's, as I say, only an hour into trade. On the commodity markets, still some negatives there, with copper prices down 0.75%, gold down 0.25% at $1,765 an ounce, and oil up 0.25% at $92.29 a barrel. The Aussie dollar's at 1.024 at the moment. It's been drifting a little bit lower through the session. That's about it for today. I'll be back again, of course, on Monday. Okay, have a great weekend.